Alright guys, welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today we are going to be jumping back over into the Crucible. This will be the first time I've jumped into the Crucible in a few weeks. The last recordings I did were all during the Guardian games. That was super fun, so it's been a few weeks. I'm looking forward to getting in, and you may already be able to tell what's about to happen. Today I wanted to focus on a build that I think is just going to be very fun. And it's one that really kind of works with any setup on the Voidlock, so you can kind of bring whatever you want to do, but I'm bringing two pieces. So this is kind of a two-pronged approach. First, I'm bringing in my Graviton Lance exotic pulse rifle, which for all intents and purposes functions like a scout rifle, albeit it is technically a pulse. And I obviously, playing through the campaign, realized the buffs they did to it felt really nice, so I haven't yet gotten to test it out in the Crucible. So I'm going to be grabbing this, and I'm going to be pairing it with the Astrocyte Verse. This is a really fun Warlock exotic. It's one that maybe does take a little bit of practice because you have to use Blink, which is kind of a teleportation jump. But this actually makes that stronger. And that's kind of the entire shtick about it. It's not really an overpowered exotic, but the perks it does bring to the table are related strictly to the blink function. So you can blink further and more frequently, which is true. Normally it's on a timer that's a lot less generous. This lets you use it more often, and in the Crucible I think it's a super fun exotic and a super fun jump to have equipped because it gives you a lot of really good evasion. And it's one thing that I really enjoy about it. So blink further, more frequently. The weapon readies more quickly when you come out of your blink, and your radar also stays up. So as you're blinking, you can see where people are if they're chasing you on the radar still, and then you'll be able to get your weapon at the ready a lot quicker with this exotic equipped. It also does give a moderate benefit to the airborne effectiveness. That doesn't really come into play all that much on this exotic, if I'm being honest. But nonetheless, that is the shtick with Astrocyte Verse. We have gone over the Graviton Lance several times, but just to recap, the deal with this one is cosmology kills cause targets to detonate and spawn void projectiles that track targets. So you'll see all these little purple void balls after you get a kill, seeking out other targets to hit. So it will actively try to find additional enemies to damage. And then down here, black hole, second shot of a burst rips a hole through space-time, doing high damage and recoil with no fall off. That's part of what they tweaked on this, just the balance between the first and second shot. It is a two-shot burst, but it in practice really only sounds, looks, and feels like a single shot. If you have a really fast capture card, you can actually, if you're watching it back in slow motion, see that there are two shots that come very close together, but short of that, you're never going to be able to tell. So that is going to be the setup for this. I haven't used this in a while, so I do need to set up some quick mods, but I will do that, and then we will cut back, and I will show you my full build setup here. Okay, guys, I quickly got my mods set up for the helmet, and, I'm going to just finish going over the setup. Looks like they're going to do maintenance on the servers, so I'm not going to be able to get in a match and do this, but I will at least get my setup done. That's disappointing, but that's okay. We'll come back when they are back up. So the setup on the helm, all I did was throw on a resilience mod, always important in the Crucible, and then void targeting. That's really the best since the Graviton is a void subclass weapon. On my gloves, I kept my resilience mod, grenade kickstart, impact induction, and additional void perk, void dexterity there. On the chest, I doubled up unflinching void aim, have a little boost to my nade, and then emergent reinforcement. If you don't know what that is, it's just if you pick up an orb, you get a temporary armor charge, and that can stack. So I will occasionally create them, and of course my teammates will occasionally create them. On my boots, kept Resilience, Absolution, Orbs of Restoration, and Innervation. We've had this one a lot. I'm not going to go down the details, but that's the setup there. Then on my Bond, I've got another Resilience mod, Reaper, Bomber, and Explosive Finisher. So all of these just work well, quality of life in the Crucible as you're damaging and using abilities and getting eliminations with them. You're going to get energy back. That's kind of the synergy with a balance skewed towards Resilience. I chose the Magnetic Grenade on this setup, so it already comes back quickly anyway, a minute 20. That's plenty quick enough. And in case you're curious, if I need to swap off, my kinetic of choice today is the Synchronic Roulette. This is one of the new Strand SMGs. It's a 600 archetype. You can see the roll I got as a perfect recoil direction. This is actually pretty cool and lucky roll I got on this one. We've got Pulse Monitor, which is always nice. That's a nice quality of life perk on here. But then the one in the middle, Target Lock, that's really nice. The longer you hold down the trigger on your target, the more powerful it gets, which is the 600 archetype, can make it hit a little harder. Nanotech, obviously it's a strand weapon, so we get that. And then I got a nice roll with ricochet rounds, so got some extra damage and some range on there, and that's paired with chamber compensator. So I think on this one I've got a pretty nice balance of range and stability on here, and the reload speed only says 19, but it's not particularly slow, to be perfectly honest, and I haven't used this one yet, so I'm just starting to build up this weapon. So let's just pop it on and say Crucible Tracker. Why not? We'll make this a Crucible SMG, at least for tracking stats. So that is going to be the armor and mods and weapon setup I'm rolling. I just have this paired with a Blast Batu. Whatever, it doesn't matter what that is. Rarely grab heavy in the Crucible. That's a personal decision. Of course, you certainly can. The abilities, my Healing Rift is always there. Is only a rare exception I would ever swap to Empowering. Blink, this is the one that you want. If you've never used it, you can see it says jump while airborne to teleport a short distance, and that is what the Astrocyte Verse exotic helm buffs. Of course, our pocket singularity. I chose Magnetic Grenade because it's got a quicker cooldown and, the double explosions and sticking to targets. It's a nice feature, so I tend to use this after I've already damaged a target to finish them off. Or, if you wanted, because I do have my Chaos Accelerant, I could absorb the Magnetic Grenade and turn it into the Void Blast, which is basically like the old... I showed this in a build a few videos back. Gosh, what's the name of it? I forget, but it's the one where you actively throw Void out of your hand. It'll come to me in a minute. That's neither here nor there. And then I kept my Child of the Old Gods, which is just great. It's one of the ways, while really not focusing heavily on the Void side, I'm doing it strictly for the Blink and the synergy of Astrocyte while playing around with the Graviton Lance in here. But I did actually change out my fragments, because this is specific to a Crucible play build that I'm going for. So I've got Echo of Vigilance. Defeating a target while my shields are depleted will give me a temporary Void Overshield. That's a nice quality of life survivability tool. The second one is Melee Final Blows grant grenade energy, so another means of funneling energy back to the grenade. Then we've got damaging targets with grenades grants melee energy. Again, just the synergy back and forth. You use one or the other, and it will get energy back to the other. And then the final one is Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades grants Volatile to your Void weapons. So dumping Volatile on the Graviton Lance could be hugely powerful. So that's what we're going to roll with. Slightly different fragments than I would use for a PvE environment, but this setup is going to work well in the Crucible. So I am going to pause here, and when the servers are done with maintenance and come back up, we will pop in and test it out and show you what it's all about. Alright guys, so it does appear now that the servers are finally back up, so we are going to be jumping in to the Crucible and testing out this build finally. So got our bounties loaded. Let's pop into some classic control. Gonna jump right in and show you what this build is all about. Radiant Cliffs. I like this map. I guess what I will do on this one, I will start with my team on our spawn side, be it A or C, and then we will push, presumably as a group, together over to base B. Exotic Scout? I don't recognize that one. If you're telling me there's a new Exotic Scout I need to chase, I am all about that.
They are your light.
Yep, so we spawn on Seaside.
Together as one. I love it. Double down. You make that look easy.
Not today, bud. I'm standing in a healing pool.
Zone B. You have zone advantage.
Yes, 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 we do. No, you don't. That was a perfect example of how nasty and wonderful this little exotic is. Astrocyte Verse with the blink. It is so improved. How many times is this guy gonna let me rock his head while he's holding a sniper? We'll see. If you actually want to try to do it, come and do it. You're done, friend. Nothing you can do to save that. Oh, man. I love it. That'll get him. Yep. No, you don't, bud. Nope, you're done. There is nothing quite as satisfying as dropping a sniper player with a scout or a pulse. Gotta catch me first, bud. Ah, he caught me. Good eye, Brad. Good eye, good eye. Okay, going in again, going in again. Bad move, dude. We'll just jump straight up. I also would like to think that it's apparent why I like the magnetic grenade with this build. Yep, that'll do it. Time to ascend the throne, my guys. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's see a fellow Kitsune Guardian there. Sit down. Sit down.
stop you if you fight together. You have advantage. Hold strong, and this battle is yours. Strength in numbers now. Excellent. Zone advantage is yours. You're almost there.
Good match.
Targets eliminated.
Bait. I guess I'm earning bait for fishing, guys. That's what I was hoping for. That's why I hopped in the Crucible today, was to earn some bait for fishing. Okay, yeah, that could have been better, but held good zones, good KD. Yeah. Good match, guys. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a little idea of what this setup is. And again, I was testing out the Graviton because, you know, it felt vastly improved, and yeah, it feels way better in the Crucible than it ever has, and paired with the Astrocyte, it's just great. So that is the loadout that I like on it in the Crucible, and those magnetic grenades in particular are a key. Sure, you could use any others, but they come up way quicker, and set the mods up right, so whether you're meleeing or throwing grenades, you're building energy back up to constantly throw it. Guys, I hope you took something away from that. Always fun playing with new builds. That's a good one, and there was a lot of flexibility. You don't want to use the Graviton, pick another gun. Doesn't really matter, but that's the setup that I use, and I think it speaks for itself. As always, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.